Yo, have you ever felt super confused about building out a fitness plan? Maybe you're all over the place, you have no idea what to do, you have no structure, you're inconsistent, but you wanna lose some weight, you wanna build muscle, you wanna get lean, you wanna bring that confidence back up. In this video, what I'm gonna do for you is I'm going to help you build out that plan, okay? So we're gonna focus on nutrition, we're gonna focus on your training split, we're gonna focus on sleep, we're gonna focus on your water intake, we're gonna focus on your step count. So that way you have some structure, you have something to fall back on, you have something to stick to, you have a starting point. Because right now you probably have no starting point, you don't know what to do. So in this video, what I wanna do is I wanna make that clear for you. We're gonna be focusing on the most important things. So that way you could get consistent, you could get to your goal, and you have some structure, all right? Yo, let's come up with our nutrition plan. So one of the first things that we're gonna do is we are going to come up with our numbers, our calorie count goal. So when putting this together, we wanna make sure that it aligns with our specific goal. So if you wanna bulk up, you wanna get bigger, you wanna be in a surplus in calories. If you wanna lose weight, you wanna focus on fat loss, you wanna be in a deficit. When putting together our numbers, I'm gonna go in depth with this in another video. But for the sake of time, let's do this thing. So this is my weight, 180 times 10, that equals 1800. 1800 times 1.7, 1.7 is my activity level. So right now I train about 5 times a week, I get 10,000 steps in daily. That's gonna equal to 3,060. This is my maintenance right here. This number right here, that's my maintenance. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get your maintenance, you're gonna times that by 0.15, you get 459. So this is where you wanna mess around with your numbers, okay? So if you wanna be in a surplus, you want to add 459. If you want to be in a deficit, and what we're going to be focusing on in this video is a deficit, so you minus that 459 and you get 2,601. So this is my starting point. This is going to be my number right here. This is my calorie count goal. So depending on how my week goes, I'm going to be checking my weight, I'm going to be checking my weekly photos, I'm going to be focusing on how I feel. This is my starting point, and I'm gonna adjust my calories depending on my weight and my weekly check-ins and things like that. But that's how we got this number right here. So next thing that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be listing out my favorite foods. So from lean protein, fatty protein, carbs, fats, I'm gonna list them out. So here's what we have for lean protein. Here's what we got for fatty protein. Here's what we got for carbs. And here's what we got for fats. All right, so when it comes to veggies, I definitely throw in some greens in there. I throw in some mushrooms. There's really no limit when it comes to veggies. I like switching things out pretty consistently. I like to expose myself to different types of veggies. When it comes to fruit, throw in some berries in there. I throw in some apples, bananas, mangoes, you name it. Like I like to switch things out because I don't want to eat the same thing over and over again. I want to prioritize getting some different micronutrients in there. So when I list out my foods, just keep in mind, like, those aren't just the foods that I eat. I eat other types of foods. Those are just the staples, that the foods that I normally would have, that would make up most of my diet weekly. But I throw in some beans in there. I throw in some Greek yogurt, throw in some, all types of foods. Chicken sausage, turkey bacon, that's not the only foods I eat. I just wanted to list out some foods that I enjoy most because I wanted to have a clear picture of what my meal plan would look like for the next few days. All right, another important thing is planning out your water intake. Let's say you're not drinking any water right now. It's something that you might have, like maybe a few glasses a day. Your water intake goal is a gallon. Right off the bat, that's gonna be pretty overwhelming, okay? If you're not used to drinking water and you jump right into a gallon, it's gonna be pretty tough to get there. So with water intake, I like to progressively get there. So let's say you have one of these. This is 24 ounces of water. I would get consistent with one and then do 2 times a day, and then 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and then eventually I'll make it to 5. So this is, to get to a gallon, it's a little over 5 of these. So that's how I would start off with our water intake. So plan out your water, prioritize it, make sure you're getting that in. Now that I have my calorie count goal, I have the foods that I listed out the foods I enjoy eating the most. They're high quality foods, they're nutrient dense. Now that I have all that, I'm going to put it into a food tracking app. I'm going to put I'm gonna set up my calories there. I like to use Chronometer, but you could definitely use MyFitnessPal or whatever you use right now. Just add your calories on there and then start putting your meal plan together. Pretty simple, right? So what I want to do is I kind of just want to show you how I like to structure out my meals. But I would highly suggest going off of how many meals you're already having. Take a look at your meal frequency right now. Are you having 2 meals, 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals? I like to have 4 to 5 meals. I like to spread out my protein. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list out my meals and how it would look, and then so that way you have some structure. So here's what we have. Again, this is a very simple way of just structuring things out. It's a great starting point. So here's what we have, okay? So meal 1, we have isolated protein, fruits and veggies, healthy fats. Meal 2, you got your lean protein, carbs, veggies, healthy fat. And meal 3, think of this as like a snack, right? Isolated protein, healthy fat, some fruit, maybe some non-fat Greek yogurt or some Greek yogurt. Meal 4, you got your fatty protein, carbs, and veggies. So this is just a good way of structuring things out. Obviously, as you go through the process, you're gonna make things your own, and that's what we want. We wanna make sure that when you go through the process, you make adjustments that fit your lifestyle, your preferences, what works best for you. But I do believe this is like just a simple, good way of just structuring things out. But yeah, you got your 4 meals here. Just fit it into your food tracking app. Make sure it fits your calories, your macro goals, things like that. Cool? What we're gonna do next is we're going to set up your training split depending on how many days you could train. So we're gonna go to the whiteboard over there, that way, and we're gonna go over everything. There's definitely a more optimal way of doing things, but our goal behind this video is just to set up your days where you can be consistent, okay? And what we want is consistency. Once we get consistent, then we could get more detailed with what we're doing. But generally speaking, you wanna set up your split based off of your training age, your specific goal, recovery, things like that. But for, just getting consistent, let's do this. All right, so we're gonna break down 1 to 3 days, or 1 day or 2 days. We're gonna do a 4-day split and a 5-day split. So bam, if I could only train 1 day, I would choose any of the days that I could train consistently, and I would choose that day, and that would be the only day I'd be training, and I would do a full body workout. All right, so don't get discouraged. If you could only train 1 day, don't get discouraged, like do that. Because I know there could be a tendency to, since you can't train 3 days or 2 days or 4 days or 5 days, then you won't train. The goal is for you to just get consistent. So choose a day. But let's say you could do 3 days. Here's how I would do it, okay? So I would do Monday, day 1. I would rest on Tuesday, Wednesday, day 2, and then Thursday, rest, and then Friday, day 3. So this would be a full body split, full body workouts. I really like a full body split if you are new to training. So if you're new to training, this is great, okay? 3 days, full body split. And then if we want to do 4 days, if 4 days is something you could do consistently, I would do a push-pull split. So push is anything to do with chest, shoulders, quads, glutes, and pull is anything to do with back, okay? And hamstrings and biceps. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I would do push A on Monday, Tuesday, pull A, and I would rest on Wednesday, and then push B and pull B. So these would be different workouts, a different split. And I will break down exercises for each one in another video. So be on the lookout for that. And then, so that's how I do it. Saturday, Sunday, I would rest, but again, really go off of your lifestyle, how many days you could train. If you can't do pull B on Friday, pick Saturday or Sunday to choose pull B. Really schedule things out based off of what you can do consistently. 5-day split. All right, so what I would do, I would still do a push-pull. but I would choose a body part that I'm lacking and I would dedicate that day to that specific body part. So for me, this is me right here. This is my split because I want to grow my legs, okay? So again, for Monday, Tuesday, push, pull. And keep in mind, I would lessen the volume on lower body exercises on these days because I know that I'm gonna have a full leg day, all right? So here's how I do it. Monday, push A, Tuesday, pull A, Wednesday, rest, because you wanna rest in between. And then Thursday, dedicate a whole day to leg day. And Friday, Saturday, push B and pull B, and then Sunday will be rest. Again, base it off of what days work best for you. So, little recap, 1 to 3 days, full body split. If you are a busy person, if you're all over the place and you have kids and you're super busy, this would be great. And if you could do 4 days, push, pull, 5 days, push, pull, and whatever you want to dedicate that next day to. So choose whatever works best for you. All right, here's our next step. What we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out our daily step count, because what we want is we want daily movement. So what I use here is I use an Apple Watch, and what we're gonna do is we're going to figure out what our current step count is. So let's say our current step count is at 3K. What we're gonna do is we're gonna up that each week. We're gonna go from 3K, 4K to 5K, and eventually we're gonna get to 10 to 15,000. Let's do it. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna be focusing on, and this is a really important step, by the way, because if you took everything away from me and I had to focus on one thing for my fitness goals, it'd be this, and that is sleep, all right? Because if you do not focus on sleep, if you do not have good quality sleep, your recovery is gonna be whack, your food decision making, not gonna be the best, you're gonna feel sluggish, you're gonna feel groggy, brain fog becomes a real thing. Okay, so you wanna make sure with your sleep you're being intentional, you're taking it very seriously. So the first thing that I would focus on, as simple as it sounds, is just start going to bed earlier. All right, so you gotta start asking yourself, is that Netflix series totally worth binging the whole night? Is it worth sacrificing sleep? And then another thing that has helped me was putting my phone in a completely different room. So my phone isn't in my room, there's no electronics in my room. And then another thing that I would focus on is making sure that my room is completely dark, completely black. And then lastly, just making sure that the room is cool at a good temperature. It's not too hot, not super cold. But I like my room at about 68 degrees, 67, 68 degrees. So that's what I would focus on to make sure that I have good quality sleep in. So make sure that you are planning out your day. So again, the first thing that I would focus on is just making sure I go to bed earlier. So look at the times that you are going to bed and waking up, and just maybe start going to bed 15 minutes earlier or 30 minutes earlier, and then go from there. All right, so that's what I would do to make sure that I have good quality sleep. And now you should have a pretty good idea of your starting point. You know what to do with your nutrition, you have a training split to go with that fits your lifestyle, you have a sleep goal, you have a step count goal, and you know how to bring that water intake up. All right, so again, this is just a starting point. This is just to give you some structure so you have something to follow, you have something to fall back on, you have something that you can stay consistent with. But obviously there's gonna be some adjustments that need to be made, right? Based off of progress, based off of your lifestyle, your preferences, your limiting factors, things like that. So one thing that I would want you to do is really pay attention to what's going on. Don't follow a plan blindly. All right, you wanna ask yourself questions. Do you like what you're doing? Do you enjoy what you're doing? What don't you like? What's working, what's not working? So that way, you could really start making adjustments that fit your lifestyle. I believe, when you're creating a plan, everyone's unique, everyone has their own lifestyle, and you really wanna tailor your plan to your lifestyle so that way you can stay consistent. Because the most important thing, I'm gonna tell you straight up, the most important thing is consistency. You could throw optimal out the door, okay? If you're not consistent with what you're doing, optimal or what's best, what's most effective, that's not going to work, because if you're not consistent, you're not gonna get anywhere. All right, consistency is what matters most. All right, so start asking yourself questions, what's working, what's not working, so that way you can make some key adjustments that fit you. In other videos, I'm gonna really detail out nutrition, like how to put your meals together. I'm gonna give you a bunch of options. I'm really excited about that. And your training split, what I wanna do in future videos is detail out exercises for each one, so that way you have a clear idea of what exercises fit into a training split. So be on the lookout for that. So again, this video is just to give you an idea of where you should start, where you should begin, so that way you have something to fall back on. So I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.